All right, let's dig in to one of the most mysterious, misunderstood, and honestly, vital kingdoms of life on our entire planet. So, I want you to just forget everything you think you know, because we're about to uncover the absolutely wild, hidden world of fungi. Okay, so what are we looking at here? You've seen this a million times, right? Popping up out of the ground in a forest or maybe even your lawn, and your first thought is probably, oh, it's a plant. But what if I told you that's not even close to the whole story? Not even a little bit. Yeah, for starters, this thing is in a completely separate kingdom of life. I mean, it is not a plant and it's not an animal. It's something else. And the craziest part, the mushroom you're actually looking at, well, that's not even the main organism. Nope, not at all. Think of it like an apple on a tree. The mushroom you see is just the fruit. The real organism, the actual fungus, is this vast, hidden empire living right under our feet, totally out of sight. So, if the mushroom is just the apple, what's the tree? Well, let's pull back the curtain and take a look at the true body of these incredible organisms. Okay, this is the mycelium. It's this enormous, sprawling network of these tiny thread-like strands called hyphae. And this web, this is the actual body of the fungus. It's constantly growing, spreading in every direction, looking for food. And get this, some of these networks can be thousands of years old and stretch for miles. You know, for the longest time, scientists just lumped fungi in with plants. And you can see why, right? They grow out of the ground, they don't really move. But here is the big twist. Genetically speaking, fungi are actually more closely related to, well, to us, to animals, than they are to plants. Isn't that wild? So yeah, since they're in their own unique kingdom, they play by a completely different set of rules. And their way of eating, I mean, it has literally shaped the world as we know it. Think about how we eat. Our cells, animal cells, we take food in and then we digest it internally. Fungi do the complete opposite. They digest their food first on the outside, and then they absorb the nutrients. It's literally like having your stomach on the outside. So why do they do this? Why this weird external digestion? Well, it's because their cell walls are super rigid. They're made of this really tough stuff called chitin. And that rigid wall is what stops them from just, swallowing their food. Now, here's another mind-blowing connection for you. Chitin is the exact same material that makes up the hard exoskeletons of things like insects and crabs. Another huge clue pointing back to that animal connection. Okay, so let's walk through how this whole feeding process works, step by step. First, the mycelium grows its little hyphae threads right into a food source, let's say a dead log. Then it starts pumping out all these digestive enzymes. Those enzymes break the log down on the outside into this kind of nutrient soup. And finally, the fungus just soaks that soup right up through its cell walls. Simple as that. All right, so that's how they eat on a micro level. But now let's zoom way, way out and see how that simple feeding strategy scales up to become a force that literally engineers our entire planet. And I'm not exaggerating here. Their impact is almost impossible to overstate. Okay, this is honestly one of my favorite facts in all of science. For hundreds of millions of years, back in the Carboniferous period, when giant trees died, almost nothing on Earth could break down the super tough lignin in their wood. So they just piled up. And all those dead trees, over millions of years, got compressed and became the coal we use today. But then, around 290 million years ago, a fungus evolved the right enzymes to digest that lignin, and just like that, the great coal-making era of our planet pretty much came to a halt. A fungus changed the world's geology. Today, their role is less about stopping coal and a lot more about creating life. Get this number, a staggering 90%. 90% of all land plants rely on a symbiotic partnership with fungi to survive. The mycelium basically acts like a massive extension of the plant's root system, reaching out and grabbing nutrients from the soil that the plant just can't get on its own. And it gets even crazier than that. These mycelial networks don't just connect to one plant. They connect many plants together, creating what scientists have nicknamed the Wood Wide Web. It's a literal, biological internet under the forest floor. Through this network, trees can send warning signals to each other about, say, an insect attack, or even shuttle nutrients from a big, healthy tree to a little sapling that's struggling in the shade. It's incredible. But this incredible biochemical power, it definitely has a dark side. Because for every fungus that's a helpful partner, there's another one that has evolved to be a devastating pathogen, or, well, something straight out of a horror movie. I mean, fungal pathogens are the single biggest cause of crop loss on the planet. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars in damage. And they don't just attack our food, they've wiped out entire species. Dutch elm disease, for example, basically erased the American elm from our forests, completely changing the landscape. And then there's this nightmare fuel, the zombie ant fungus. Its spores infect an ant, and then the fungus literally takes over its brain. It hijacks the ant's nervous system and forces it to climb up a plant to a specific height. There, it makes the ant clamp its jaws onto a leaf in a death grip. The fungus then kills the ant, and a fruiting body erupts from the ant's head to rain spores down on all the other ants below. It is terrifyingly precise. But here's the amazing twist in the story. That same incredibly complex, aggressive biochemistry that can create a zombie ant, well, it can also be used to save human lives. See, down in the soil, fungi are in a constant chemical war with bacteria. And one of the weapons they developed in that war is a little something called penicillin. Yes, that penicillin, the world's first antibiotic. It was discovered in a simple mold, and it launched the antibiotic revolution that has saved literally hundreds of millions of lives since World War II. And the list just keeps going. Statins, the drugs that lower cholesterol, they come from fungi. The crucial immunosuppressant drugs that make organ transplants possible, fungi. Even powerful anti-tumor compounds used in cancer treatments, yep, you guessed it. They all come from the incredible chemical factories that exist inside fungi. Okay, so we've seen how fungi have shaped our planet's past and how they shape our health today. So now, let's look forward and see how this hidden kingdom is getting ready to shape our future. You might be surprised to learn we already rely on them for, well, a lot. Ever wonder where the citric acid that gives soda that tart kick comes from? It's not lemons. It's mass-produced by a fungus. In fact, a full 60% of all the enzymes we use in industry come from fungi. And believe me, we are just scratching the surface here. Right now, scientists are figuring out how to use fungi to clean up oil spills and even to eat plastic. People are growing mycelium into sustainable materials that could replace leather, plastic packaging, even building materials. The potential is it's enormous. And here's the final thought I want to leave you with, and it's the most mind-boggling one of all. Mycologists, the scientists who study fungi, they've identified about 150,000 species, but they estimate there are probably around 3 million species out there. That means we know about, maybe 5%? 95% of the fungal kingdom is a complete mystery. So it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What revolutionary medicines, what world-changing materials, what incredible secrets are still out there, just waiting to be discovered, hidden right beneath our feet.